Hi guys, hi guys, this is the Shrimmer Carlos. On today's video, I'm gonna give you my review of my brother Kevin and I's guilty pleasure movie when we were little kids in Guatemala and in here in the U.S. The original Space Jam with MJ, the greatest player, the greatest, the goat in my eyes. To many of us, maybe maybe to maybe to some of you, LeBron James is the chasing goat right now, or you might put Steph Curry into the mix right now. But for now, Michael Jordan is sitting on a throne that is attached to a pedestal that LeBron and Steph Curry are trying to reach very hard. But right now, there's only one GOAT. And that GOAT is Michael Jordan. But in this movie, we got to see MJ not only basically show us that he was still an assassin in the basketball court, but instead of the 1990s Bulls at the time, he teamed up with the Looney Tunes to not face the Boston Celtics or the Lakers or the other 28 teams. Instead, he teamed up with Looney Tunes, with Bugs, Daffy Duck, and all the rest of our favorite Looney Tunes to face the Monstars. So, in this movie, I really enjoy this movie because it brings back a lot of memories for me and to my brother Kevin too. But I think you can check me on this, guys. To my knowledge, Space Jam was the second movie. Maybe not. Was the second movie to have animation and live action together, like real people. But obviously, the first movie that mixed live action or real people and animation was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But anyway, like I said, in this movie, Michael Jordan, MJ, is basically he has retired for the first time. He has retired for the first time, and he's done. He gives a press conference, and he says, "I have done what I had to do. I'm done with basketball, with the NBA, and I want to expand my palette, my sports palette. Meaning, I want to try something that my dad pushed me towards before I even touched a basketball, and that sport is baseball. And guys, I have to tell you, in the movie, in Space Jam, uh, Michael Jordan Michael Jordan is portrayed to be the athlete that he is regarding in the basketball sense, but he basically he didn't have the he tried his best to do the best that he could with baseball, but he just didn't cut it in the movie. And perhaps it was just in the movie because I'm pretty sure that in real life he did pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Pretty good in real life when it came to baseball. But and obviously in this movie, then but basically he in the movie in Space Jam he's basically doing really bad in baseball, and many sports anchors in the movie. In one particular scene, he's in the movie. He's coming back from a tough game, from a tough, numbers game, like home run, statistical game for him, baseball game, and he's pretty down on himself, which I was pretty glad to see, because it showed to me that Michael Jordan is actually a mortal. He is actually human. He's not a sports god. Yes, he's a sports god. He's a sports god regarding the NBA or basketball. But many of us, we thought that he would basically destroy baseball too, and that wasn't the case. He was pretty good, but we thought that he would, just like he had destroyed the NBA in his rivals, like the Boston Birdman, Larry Bird. He didn't crush. He didn't destroy in baseball. He did pretty good, but he didn't destroy in baseball. But anyway, he's kind of down on himself after this baseball game, and he comes home and he sees his three little, and he hears the TV in his living room, and his three kids are watching. I want to say Sports Center. You guys check me on that. Sports Center, and the anchor is basically bashing and Michael's bashing his performance in this particular game, and the anchor says about MJ and Michael, you should not be swinging them. I'm gonna paraphrase it. The anchors basically said, "You suck. in doing baseball. You should return to your natural habitat. To your natural habitat, which is basically the hardwood or the NBA. And after seeing this, MJ tells his three kids, guys, don't watch this absurdity, and he puts on the Looney Tunes. By this time, in the Loonverse, a group of tiny little aliens had landed in the Toonverse, where they basically said to Bugs Bunny, come with us, come with us, Bugs, and come with us, Bugs Bunny, with all of your friends, all your Looney Tunes, all your Looney Tunes friends included, besides you, to work at our boss's space amusement park. And Bugs is like, he thinks that obviously this group of tiny little aliens are not menacing enough, so he basically doesn't take their threat of if he and his Looney Tunes and all the rest of the tunes don't come with this group of tiny little aliens. He takes, because they're little, Bugs is like, really, you're tiny and you're tiny little aliens, and you're basically threatening me. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Basically, plant your flag and say, Mr. Bugs, if you don't come with us, we're going to shoot you with our tiny guns that don't have any grit or enough power to basically destroy the Toonverse. And boy was Bugs wrong about this group of tiny little aliens. Well, the leader of the group of tiny little aliens was like, okay, fine. If you regard our threat of destroying your home, meaning the Toonverse, not seriously, well, let me show you, Mr. Bugs Bunny. And the tiny little alien leader of this group of tiny little aliens basically pulled out his ray gun and basically blasted the tranquil forest, the tranquil, peaceful forest of the Toonverse. And of course, after this, Bugs was like, yeep. So Bugs had called an an emergency tune meeting at the Toonverse auditorium, where basically Daffy Duck and all the rest of the Toons, like Tweety Bird, again, Daffy Duck, the Tasmanian Devil, Froghorn and Leghorn, and all our favorites were like, what is this meaning? What is this emergency meeting all about? And actually, Porky Pig appeared. Porky Pig actually appeared in the Roadrunner cartoon that MJ's three kids were watching, and of course MJ's kids were like, this is strange. So basically, Porky Pig stopped the cartoon and said, "Guys, we have an emergency meeting." Well, in this emergency meeting, all the Toons saw when the curtains open on the stage, they saw Bugs chained up with chains, and Bugs introduced the tiny little alien group, and of course the tiny little alien group was like, if you Toons don't come with us, we will destroy everything you love, and we will destroy your home. Meaning all of Toonverse and everything in between. And of course, all the Toons that were sitting in their seats at the auditorium were like, really? They laughed at the tiny little group of aliens. But then all of a sudden, Bugs had an idea. Had an epiphany. A loony epiphany. Where his loony epiphany was okay, you want to destroy our Toonverse? Little tiny group of aliens? Well, if you want to destroy our home, you will have to earn the right to destroy our home. And so Bugs challenged the tiny little group of aliens to a game. And that game was the game of basketball. And all the Toons, Daffy Duck, Sylvester, Tweety Bird, Elmer Fudd, and every Toon and the Toon Hood. Basically, there were a group of five Toons backstage of the auditorium. Bugs, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester, and Taz. And they were like confident that they would beat the holy Toon out of this tiny group of little tiny little group of aliens, because they were short. They were short, and they had asked, Bugs, what was the game of basketball? What did you have to do in basketball? Well, then Bugs was like, okay, we don't want to be rude. We don't want to be discordial. Even though this tiny group of aliens landed in our home, landed here at home, and they said, if you don't come with us, we will destroy your Toonverse and everything in between, and everything you love in it and in between. But Bugs was like, guys, let's not be rude. Let's be cordial in a Toonie way. And so Bugs basically said, roll it. Basically, he showed everyone, every toon in the auditorium, a tutorial movie of the game of basketball. And afterwards, the tiny little alien group were like, we got it, we understand now. But what they didn't know was, okay, now that we understand the game of b-ball, of street ball, of basketball, they saw that the guys that played the game of basketball were tall. We're tall as sequoias, or in the middle between a sequoia tree and in the middle of a sequoia tree, or taller than that, taller than a sequoia tree. So the tiny little alien group were like trying to figure out how would they become tall? How would they turn from small to tall and big? From small aliens to tall and big aliens. Well, they figured that since we already know the game of basketball, and since we know the game of basketball eventually formed into the NBA, they figured the tiny little alien group. They figured out that the only way that we can get taller is not by training hard, not by training just hard, but by cheating, but by cheating hard as well. So this tiny little alien group gathered themselves up, and they went to several NBA games in disguise, where they saw several players in the court, when they saw several players on the court. To be more specific, one of the tiny little aliens sucked the talent out of the great Georgetown Wall, better known as Patrick Ewing. Yes, guys, one of the tiny little aliens sucked the NBA talent out of Patrick the Wall Ewing. And then another of the tiny aliens sucked the NBA talent out of His Royal Majesty himself, King Charles Barkley, and many others. And obviously all the NBA players were like to their coaches, and they were pretty scared to enter the arenas because they had no clue what was going on. But anyway, a few weeks passed, and Bugs and his group of 5 teammates, and of course the second unit of the Toon Squad were just chatting up amongst themselves, and they were like, guys, let's go easy on these tiny little aliens. But when the tiny little aliens arrived, when Bugs turned around, the tiny little aliens transformed into big giant flat pancake flattening destroying monsters. And of course Bugs and all the rest of the team and all the rest of the second unit were like, they were like shocked, and they basically just were let, in a figuratively speaking, Daffy Duck laid an egg. Froglorn Leghorn became, figuratively speaking, a fried chicken. Fried chicken. Tweety just became, figuratively speaking, he became even smaller than he already was. So Bugs, he basically he was stunned. Bugs was stunned and shocked and afraid, as he should. But then he had an epiphany. He had a Toon epiphany, and said, "Guys, I know that we are all afraid that we might get creamed like two mashed potatoes. But there's still hope. And obviously all the tunes were like, what do you mean by hope? We're gonna get crushed. We're gonna get crushed, and we will be forced to leave with this giant, tiny little alien group that now are giants, and we will have to go into outer space to their bosses, to their boss amusement park, and work for this Joker, for this untuned Joker, untuned rights Joker, and we'll have to tell jokes for the rest of our lives that are not pretty funny. But Buck said, guys, don't worry. I have an idea. And that idea was to bring another member to the Toon Squad that wasn't specifically a tune. And that was, of course, Michael Jordan himself, MJ. Meanwhile, MJ was having a triple threat golfing match between himself, the Birdman from Boston, Larry Bird, and the Ghostbuster himself, Bill Murray. So in one of the golf holes that this triple threat golf match was going on, MJ had hit a birdie putt, a very good birdie putt, and his caddy, the guy with glasses from Seinfeld, not George Costanza, but the other one, that guy again, guys that you can, I don't know the guy with glasses name, not George Costanza's name in the series, but you can check me. You can tell me in the comments who's the other glass wearing guy in Seinfeld. But anyway, this other guy that wore glasses in Seinfeld was MJ's caddy. So this guy told MJ to basically he said, Mr. Jordan, I would like to take a picture of you taking out your perfect birdie putt ball out of the hole. So as MJ was posing to take his hole in one birdie putt ball out of the hole that he had put that same ball in, MJ got roped in. Yes, I said it. Roped in. MJ didn't get sucked in, but he got roped in. Into the hole. Into the golf hole. Into the golf hole. Where surprisingly enough, he was roped in with such grace and such loony, loony, luna, lunacy, Looney Tune style, that he wasn't, that he got pulled in with such force, and he was coming towards the Looney Tunes to the Looney Tune sign that was underneath the hole at the end of the hole underneath. That was the Looney Tune sign was underneath the hole, basically underneath the hole. But anyway, so MJ was going pretty fast, underneath the hole, underground, and he was coming towards the Looney Tune sign. The Looney Tune sign with such lunavosity or luna velocity that he almost poked the hole into the Looney Tune sign. But thankfully he didn't poke a hole into the Looney Tune sign. But when he entered the Looniverse, he came down like a rocket, and he landed like a rocket. So after gathering himself up, MJ was like, I know this place. This place is familiar to me. Then we see Yosemite Sam. A little bit of Yosemite Sam. A little glimpse of Yosemite Sam, and that's when we know that it wasn't Bug that had roped MJ into the Looniverse, but it was Yosemite Sam. Then we see Bugs Bunny, and he says, MJ, I'm sorry for roping you into our world, but we need your help. We need your help. You see, Michael. And then Bugs is basically Bugs explains that to Michael. You see, Michael. We're kind of in a mess right now. You see, Michael, a group of tiny little aliens landed here in our home, and they basically came out with a threat and said, You, Bugs Bunny, and all the rest of your toony friends must come with us. Come with us. Come with us. Come with us. Come with us to our boss's amusement park. So to work at this same amusement park forever. And to make it short and sweet, guys, Bugs was like, and we challenged them, and we challenged this tiny group of aliens to a game of basketball. Then the tiny little aliens, this tiny little alien group of aliens. I don't know how they did it, Michael, but they transform into from little to big, giant aliens. And again, we challenge them to a game of basketball. Whoever wins the game of this friendly game of basketball, if we win, they will leave. If they win, we will go with them, and we will work at their boss's amusement park forever, and we will tell jokes that are not very good, forever, and we will be chained up forever. And Michael, the only one that can help us is you. So, Michael, please. So in a Looney Tune way, Bugs said, "Help us, Michael, help us." Then, but afterwards, to keep it short and sweet, guys, Daffy Duck gave a stamp of approval on Michael's health and conditioning. He basically gave Michael a Looney Tune exam, physical exam, and of course MJ passed. But Michael tells Bugs, I wish I could help you guys. I wish I could help you guys. But I haven't touched a basketball in 6 months. Yes, guys. I believe that when Space Jam happens, according to the timeline, it had been 3 months after 3 months after MJ gave his first retirement press conference. So again, MJ tells Bugs, I wish I could help you guys, but I haven't touched a basketball before. I haven't touched a basketball in 6 months. And if I touch a basketball, I feel like I would be rusty, and I don't want to do that to you. But anyway, then later on in the movie, Bugs and all the tunes are basically show MJ an old Acme gym that they sometimes work out in, and of course MJ is very impressed that the gym is intact, but he says, guys, this gym is intact. It's not rubble, but it looks old. It needs a little bit of cleaning up. So then Daffy tells himself and all the tunes to do a spit shine. Yes, guys, I said, yes, guys, I said a spit shine. And after the spit shine, the gym looks pretty clean. But then MJ realizes that he can't play basketball. He can't play basketball right unless he has his lucky shorts that he wore throughout his career, throughout his college career at the University of North Kakalaki or North Carolina, and basically he tells Bugs and Daffy to go get them to go get his tennis shoes, his gear, his tennis shoes, and his lucky shorts. And he basically says to Bugs and Daffy, guys, I need my lucky shorts. You don't understand how lucky these lucky shorts are to me. Because guys, I used to wear these lucky shorts of mine every single game that I played at North Carolina with my coach Dean Smith. And guys, by the way, I haven't cleaned them. I have never cleaned them. And obviously all the tunes plus Bugs and Daffy were like, really? That's not like you. That's not like you, MJ. But okay. Ew. So Daffy Duck, and of course Bugs were like, said, okay, we will bring your lucky shorts to you and your gear. For that, Bugs and Daffy would have to come to us, meaning the real world, and eventually they found themselves at Bugs and Daffy found themselves at MJ's house doorstep. So they got in. And they were trying to find MJ's trophy room. Eventually, Daffy and Bugs found MJ's trophy room. But before that, Daffy had himself a very funny encounter with MJ's pit bull dog. Had a very funny encounter with MJ's pit bull, where I have to tell you guys that Daffy just he didn't look that great. And when Daffy doesn't look that great, it's funny. So basically, Daffy got beat up by MJ's bulldog. Anyway, after finding after finding and getting MJ's Lucky Shorts and his and his in his playing shoes or tennis shoes. As Bugs and Daphne were leaving, MJ's three kids discovered both Daffy and Bugs in their father's trophy room. And then Bugs said to MJ's older son, "Kiddo, can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret?" And MJ's older son said, "Sure, Bugs." And Bugs said, well, your dad is helping us. Helping me and Daffy and all the rest of our loony friends in a game of basketball. And we hope that we win. If we don't, we will be in big trouble. But anyway, after hearing this, MJ's older son said, "Cool, we will. Me and my little sister and my little brother, we will keep this a secret." So after going back to the Looniverse, Bugs and Daffy gave MJ his Lucky Shorts and his shoes. Then Bugs said, guys, he's ready. Then Bugs opened the gym doors, and just like Thor, just like you would see, just like in any MCU movie, just like in any MCU movie, MJ comes into the gym with his Lucky Shorts on, his tennis shoes on, and he basically says, "It's go time," paraphrasing, and he basically shows off his skills. But after showing off his skills, he tells the Looney Tunes, tells all our favorite Looney Tunes, including Bugs and Daffy, show me what you got. Show me your skills. And MJ, of course, is impressed by the Looney Tunes, by their effort, but he's not so much impressed by their basketball skills. Then all of a sudden, the gym doors open, and comes and the tune that comes out. The tune that comes out is not a Looney Tune. Is not a regular Looney Tune. It's Lola Bunny. Then Lola Bunny says to MJ, Mr. Michael Jordan, or Mr. MJ, I know how to play basketball. I know how to play basketball. Basket basketball. And MJ's like, well, Lola, show me your skills. In the meantime, Bugs is love struck, and he becomes overcome by loony love, and you could see that his eyes have tiny hearts around him. His eyes turn from regular Bugs Bunny eyes to heart eyes, lovey eyes. And Bugs is like, to Lola, in his Bugsy way, he says, Lola, would you be my girl? And Lola says to Bugs, I'm nobody's girl. Then Lola blows Bugs a kiss, and of course Bugs becomes very he melts, but he doesn't melt. He becomes a plank. He becomes very stiff, and he just basically plops down like a piece of still wood, and that's my favorite part. In the meantime, as MJ and the Toons are training in the Toonverse, all the rest of the NBA players are trying to figure out what took their NBA skills from them. Some of them would go to psychologists. Others would go to fortune tellers. Others would go to a house of higher power, meaning church, like Charles Barkley. But still, all the rest of the NBA players didn't have a clue what was going on with them. Then a few weeks later, regarding the movie, it was time for the game of games. The Toon Squad with the ultimate human, with the ultimate basketball human, MJ, on their side against these monsters in a game for survival for our favorite Looney Tunes, in a game of pure destruction of joy and the Toon universe as we know it. And of course the tiny little alien group's boss, who is voiced by Danny DeVito, is like, guys, we need to win this. If we don't, I will crush you. I will make you guys into pancakes. So all the tunes in all the Toonverse, in all of Toonverse, gather in and at the Toon Stadium, and this is one of my other favorite parts. The two little rats confiscate the microphone from the Toon Stadium uh Toon Stadium PA announcer, and these tiny these two mouse team give us, I believe in it's one of the best lineup roll calls, or lineup roll calls that I've ever seen in a movie. Ever. So we get to the end. At first these two mouse basically say, weighing at whatever pounds, Daffy Duck, the master, the duck of laughter, the duck of mischief, Daffy Duck. And of course, when Daffy comes, it's cricket silent. Then when the two mouse duo get to the forwards of the Toon Squad. My favorite lineup call is Bugs, where the mouse that is holding the microphone says, the ultimate Toon, the Toon Master himself, the master of the skies, with an extra height of ears, weighing at 5'10", 11 inches, plus 2 inches of two inches of his long ears, the master of disguise, our favorite, the goat of goats, our favorite Toon that we know and love, Bugs Bunny. And then the next forward, you may know him as the king, you may know him as the assassin of basketball, the guy who made us believe that we can, who makes us believe that we can fly in tennis, regarding shoes, playing out of North Kakalaki, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That, to me, guys, that's my favorite. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. Favorite part of the whole movie. That just gives me that scene. That part of the movie gets me excited. Gets me excited. But anyway, and the referee of the game is Marvin the Martian. So then the game begins. The game begins. And the Toons are getting crushed. They're getting demolished. And by the end of the first half, or at the end of, let me rephrase it, guys. At the end of the first half, Danny DeVito's character, meaning the tiny little alien boss sees MJ on the court, and he says to MJ, "Come here. Come here. Come here, Michael. Come here, Michael Jordan." And MJ says, when we win, you will leave my friends and you will leave their home alone. Then the tiny little alien boss says, "Agree. A deal. But how about this? Let's add a little bit more. Let's add one more thing. If we win, not only the Toons will come to my amusement park in space and work for me. But you too, Michael Jordan. You will give out autographs. You will play one-on-one games without any rest for the rest of your life. You will let your opponent win every time." And MJ eventually, guys, MJ agrees to the terms of the new deal. So by the end of the first half, the Toon Squad is basically down and out. And MJ gives a very, very impactful speech and says, "Guys, I didn't come to help you and lose. I came here to help you win, and I want to win for you and for me." And of course, Bugs is like, "MJ, you're right, but you have your special stuff or special sauce. We don't." And MJ's like, "Guys, yes you do. I don't even have my special stuff. I'm not even sure if I ever had my special stuff. But what makes you special is being yourselves. Be loony. Be yourselves. And by the end of by the end of his speech, by the end of the by the end of his speech, by the end of every speech, Bugs has got himself a water bottle, a type water bottle, and had wrote MJ's special sauce. And every tune drinked out of this loony water bottle with MJ's special sauce or stuff. And I have to tell you, it was like bringing a boring Kiss concert, the band Kiss, from way down here to up here, or even higher than that. And boy, the second half was pretty great for the Tune Squad, where we got to see Bugs basically disguise himself as a bike delivery, as a scooter bike mail delivery man or delivery bunny, and we got to see Wile E. Coyote blow the holy tune out of the Monstars and everything in between. But as the second half was coming to its end, the Monstars had regained momentum and had regained control of the game. So during a timeout, MJ was like, guys, come on, guys, we can do this. But before the timeout, in one of the plays, basically, Bugs sacrificed his tail off to protect his crush, his lovely bunny crush, Lola, from getting squashed by a monster. And tragically in a funny way, Bugs took the hit for Lola, and he got squashed. And then, after gaining himself up, and he was still laying with a funny look of pain. But Lola was like, Bugs. That's one of the most craziest and loony things anyone has ever done for me. So, going back to the timeout. So then during the timeout, like I said before, MJ was like, come on, guys, we can finish the game. We can finish the game and win the game. But MJ, he looked down the bench and the second unit and every tune available was out and down for the count because of the Monstars. So then all of a sudden, Bill Murray appeared. Bill the Buster of Ghosts Murray appears, and he joins, or he turns into a sub. And then he says, I have the perfect game plan, or the perfect play to win the game for you guys and for the whole team. And it was, or it is a play. Basically, the whole play is that they would pass the ball. Around until they would get it to Mike. And Mike would become a basketball driven Ferrari, and would drive the basketball to the basket and dunk it. So as the clock is ticking down, Bill Murray passes the ball to Bugs and all the rest of the team until the ball gets to MJ himself, and MJ is driving the ball, and he reaches, and he's driving to the basket, and he makes a superhuman leap as we all know that he can do, and that LeBron James would be jealous of, in my opinion. Then, as he's leaping for the basket, as MJ's basically vaulted himself to the basket, something is stopping him, and something is stopping him from reaching the basket, and he realizes that two of the Monstars are basically clutching his legs, and his arm is his arm that is holding the ball is almost there, is almost to the basket, and he basically stretches. And then he realizes, I need to go further, meaning his arm. and he stretches, and he's sweating very profusely, and he basically, his arm stretches and stretches, and eventually his arm stretches to a point that it becomes very wobbly, and eventually he dunks the ball with his dunks the ball with his wobbly, stretchy arm, and that's how the Toon Squad wins the game. And of course, Danny DeVito's character is very upset with his team, and his team of Monstars, and of course he's pretty mad for not winning the game. And then MJ says to the tiny little alien group, "We had a deal." And then the Monstars say, "Okay, you won, fair and square." Then the Monstars turn themselves back into this tiny little alien group and say, "Good game." But Mr. Bugs Bunny and Mr. Michael, we would like Mr. Bugs, we would like to join you. Join the rest of you. Join the rest of you and become Toons ourselves. But then Danny DeVito's character, meaning the tiny little alien boss, says to them, you jerks, you lost the game. And MJ says, Are you gonna let him talk to you like that? But eventually, the tiny little alien group shoves their old boss onto a rocket, and he shoots up into space, and he blows up far away up in the sky, and that's the end of that. Then we see MJ come to the conclusion, or says, "Guys, it was fun playing with you guys, but I need to go. I have to be at a game." So then MJ comes to the game on a ship. Comes to the baseball game, to his baseball game that he's supposed to play at. Not in a normal MJ way. He comes out of a ship, out of a spaceship, onto the baseball field, and everyone, including his wife, his older son, and his three kids, and everyone in the baseball stadium are surprised at first, and shocked to see that MJ made it in time, made it in time before the baseball game started. But they are very shocked and surprised that he came to the game. He came to the game on a ship from outer space. Then after the game, even though we don't see the whole game, even though we don't see the baseball game, MJ and the other guy that wears the glasses from Seinfeld, not George Costanza, show up at a local gym where Patrick Ewing, Bugsy Bowe, Charles Barkley, and two other players that were affected by the tiny little alien group when they got their NBA account sucked out of by this tiny little alien group. And then MJ opens. They see MJ coming into the gym doors, and say to MJ, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And MJ says, I came here to give your talents back to you. Give your NBA talent back to you. And so basically the little tiny group of aliens had stored all the talent that they had sucked, all the NBA talent that they had sucked in a basketball. And that's how this tiny alien group transformed into the monsters. But anyway, so after a brief discussion, and she's like, guys, if you want your talents back, if you want your NBA talent back, you need to touch this basketball together. So they did. Then all of a sudden, all Bugsy Bowe's talent, Charles Barkley's talent, and Patrick Ewing's talent, and the other basketball players that were at the gym's talent had come back. Then Charles Barkley and the rest of the group says to MJ, why don't you stay and play with us? And MJ says, no guys, you guys go ahead. I have lost touch. and Charles Barkley, or I think Bugsy Bowe says, don't tell me that you're afraid, MJ. And then the movie cuts to the beginning of the 1995 to the second coming of MJ to the Bulls. Basically, it shows MJ. Basically shows MJ unretire for the first time. And he's being introduced into the lineup of the Chicago Bulls, and guys, that's how this wonderful guilty pleasure of mine movie ends. With that, guys, I hope you liked my Space Jam review, and let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments first. Have you seen Space Jam? Have you seen Space Jam? Second, who is your favorite Looney Tunes character? And who would you choose if you guys were Michael Jordan or MJ in your own Toon Squad, in your own personalized Toon Squad? Bye, and remember to hit a like. Bye. Thank you.